Hey Max users! Hope you enjoyed my last tutorial, how to retopologize in 3ds Max. If you haven't heard of the 3ds Max retopology modifier yet, it's a tool that automatically cleans up your mesh by rebuilding it with nice clean quads. As you probably know, having a clean quad mesh offers better deformation for animation and makes UV unwrapping and editing mesh way easier. The retopology modifier uses Autodesk's proprietary reform tech, which does an awesome job of keeping the details intact. But let's be real, we Max users love to push the boundaries by throwing millions of polys into the modifier, which can take a long time to process. Autodesk has introduced Flow Retopology, so now you can send your retopology tasks to the cloud. No need to fire up another Max instance or babysit the process. You can easily send multiple retopology tasks to the cloud, monitor their progress, and get your clean meshes back. So where's Flow Retopology? I don't see it in my UI. The reason it's not showing up is because it's a separate plugin, just like the Retopology modifier or USD for 3ds Max. That way, it can be updated separately from the main 3ds Max release. To download the plugin, head to the account page on the Autodesk website. Under All Products and Services, click View Details, then go to the Available Downloads section and click Extensions. You'll find Flow Retopology for 3ds Max there. Just download and install it. Also, make sure you download the USD plugin for 3ds Max if you don't have it yet, since Flow Retopology exports meshes as USD files. You'll now see the Flow Graph engine in the main menu. Select Create New Retopo Job to open the Flow Retopology submitter. The UI is simple to use. There's a selected mesh button to pick a mesh. Turn it on and choose your mesh. Keep in mind, you can only send one mesh per job. After that, the current face count will display the face count, and the job name will automatically be filled with the object's name. Next, select Choose Output Location, which will be used for both the prep data being sent and the resulting mesh from the cloud. By default, it will point to the project folder. Let me use Scene Assets folder under there. Lastly, set the target face count. At this point, you're ready to submit the job, as all the minimum requirements have been completed. However, it seems there are more options hidden within the closed rollouts. Let's see what we have. Expand the topology, feature preservation, and symmetry rollouts. Does this look familiar? It should. I'll go ahead and apply a retopology modifier to the model. Because it utilizes the same reform technology, the options are nearly identical to those of the retopology modifier. In the modifier, we have regularize, adaptivity, and anisotropy. In Flow Retopology, the equivalent options are topology regularity, face uniformity, and anisotropy. So, topology regularity corresponds to regularize, and face uniformity corresponds to adaptivity. We don't have control over the quad tolerance and subdivision settings. Quad tolerance is always set to 100, and subdivision remains fixed at 1. Even when I used the modifier, I never adjusted these settings, so you're not missing out on much by not changing those values. The feature preservation rollout is equivalent to the Auto Edge feature, with the options being the same, except for the absence of the UV channel option. If you want to preserve UV seam edges, you can use the Data Channel Modifier preset. Select UV seam edges, which converts UV seams into selected edges. You can then check the Selected Edge checkbox. Lastly, Flow Retopology includes symmetry options. Internally, this feature slices the mesh at the center and applies symmetry to the result, similar to how we do in Max. One key thing to note is that, unlike the retopology modifier, Flow Retopology doesn't support data transfer for UVs, vertex colors, or normals. The feature preservation settings are only used as a guide to help influence the output. In this tutorial, I'll be sending a scanned mesh, so I probably won't need to use the feature preservation options. I'll leave them all turned off as default. For the topology options, I recommend starting with everything set to 0.5. Now, press the Submit button. You can see that Max is exporting the USD file. Again, make sure USD for 3ds Max is installed before submitting. I tried to submit another job with a target face count of 100,000. However, there's an issue with a duplicated job name. Duplicated job names are not allowed, so you'll either need to delete the existing job or wait 30 days for the job task to be automatically cleared. I submitted the 100,000 target as Bronze Sculpture STL2 and the 50,000 target as Bronze Sculpture STL3. To monitor the jobs, go to the Flow Graph Engine menu and select Open Job Monitor. This will open the Flow Job Monitor, where you can track the status of your jobs. Currently, you can see that 3 jobs are scheduled. The first one is starting, and its status has changed to computing. If any job fails, it will be marked as failed, like the one at the bottom. Right now, all our 3 jobs are in the computing stage. Once a job completes successfully, the Import button will appear, allowing you to import the retopologized mesh by clicking. Here are the 3 retopologized versions with 50,000, 100,000, and 300,000 polygons. Given that the original mesh has nearly 1 million vertices and 2 million triangles, the 300,000 vertex and polygon version looks promising, especially considering the smaller data size. By clicking on a job in the Job Monitor, you can view various details, including the path to the downloaded result file, process log, job ID, computation time, memory usage, and retopology settings. There's also a web monitor available. Currently, you can submit up to 30 jobs per user each calendar month at no cost. That's right, it's a free service as of now. Why not give it a try? Before concluding this video, let's quickly review the 3 parameters for the reform: topology regularity, anisotropy, and face uniformity. The default values for all 3 parameters are set to 0.5. Topology regularity or regularized value controls how uniform each polygon is. Pay close attention to the forehead and ear area. At a value of 1, the quads are mostly the same size, creating a more grid-like edge flow. When set to 0, there's more variation in quad size, and the edge flow adapts more to the shape of the object. Anisotropy controls the squareness of quads. At 0, the reform generates square-shaped quads, while at 1, it produces more elongated rectangular quads. If you look around the ear, you'll notice that a higher anisotropy value also results in more adaptive polygon sizes. Face uniformity or adaptivity varies quad size based on the curvature of the surface. A higher value results in more quads being generated around curved areas. This is when the value is 0, and this is when the value is 1. You can see this effect around the edge of the ear. Increasing face uniformity enhances the detail and accuracy of contours. Typically, the default settings work well. However, if you want more adaptive results, try lowering topology regularity while increasing anisotropy and face uniformity. Here's what it looks like with topology regularity at 0.0 and both anisotropy and face uniformity set to 1.0. If that feels too much, here's an alternative with 0.25 for topology regularity and 0.75 for both anisotropy and face uniformity. Alright, that wraps it up. Thanks for watching.